Hello and welcome to the Hungarian capital city of Budapest for round 4 of the Red Bull Air Race World Championship. This is one of the world's fastest motorsports, holy grail of locations, and along with Zeltweg in Austria is often considered the birthplace of air racing. Red Bull Air Race has been flying high over the River Danube since 2003, with the FIA official World Championship status coming in 2005. This weekend represents the 6th competition in Budapest, taking the championship for 2015 to its halfway point. Spectacular scenery, city views, and the pilots flying under the chain bridge. Joining myself, Nick Fellows, in the commentary box is 2 times world champion Mike Mangold, who has also won here twice before over the River Danube. These are the results from the round of 14, or the lineup, as we take a look back, I should say, at the best of the action from the round of 14. And the biggest stories came nice and early. Peter Besenyei going up against Kirby Chambliss. Chambliss a winner here in 2004. Besenyei a winner here in 2003. It was the result the Hungarians wanted, Mike.
Right. Peter, with this new airplane, he's getting to know it better and better each flight, and that's what we're seeing out here. He laid down a great time. It didn't matter that Kirby picked up a penalty. Peter was going to move on, hands down.
Absolute delight for the local fans and, of course, Peter's wife, Tundi. With all the pressure as the host nation and host pilot upon his shoulders, Besenyei delivers. Quite a shock in Heat 3, Ivanov up against Nigel. The French pilot, the first out to fly, and a DNF.
Both these pilots are going to do an over-G in the same gate. It's going to force the race committee to go in the rule book, but they're doing this because they're so anxious to get this high G turn started. Every little place they can pick up the time. You see it right here as Nigel rolls in. They're just going past what I call their 10G butt. They got to know the limit and stay within it.
Thanks to count back to the qualifying times, Nigel goes through to the round of 8, putting Ivanov out of the competition. But high drama with both pilots in a DNF scenario. And the most exciting story of the round of 14 came in the last heat, Heat 7. Matt Hall, unbeaten all week long, maintained that impressive work and performance rate out on the track faster than anybody else, Mike.
This is picture perfect, nice lines, very smooth flying, good altitude control. It doesn't get any better for Team Hall. They've got the airplane going, they got the pilot going. Can they see it through now for 2 more runs?
So 7 pilots and 1 fastest loser go through. The fastest loser to go through was Martin Sonka, right at the bottom of the lineup there. Besenyei will go up against Pete McLeod to get the action underway. Nigel goes up against Hannes Ark, and Paul Bonhomme goes up against Matthias Dolderer. But it is the local hero, Peter Besenyei, to fly first, up against the Canadian, Pete McLeod.
Peter Besenyei, Hungary.
Now I have minimum of 1 World Championship point. Now there's the time to pump up and go with full power and cut the corners much more.
Well, the brand new plane for Peter Besenyei delivered in the round of 14. Can the godfather of the Red Bull Air Race do it again in the round of 8 and book himself a spot in the Final 4 for the first time this season? There is Peter's wife, Tunde, watching on. She can hardly watch. But the new plane seems to be working for Besenyei, and as we said in the round of 14, Mike, he seems to be getting faster and faster every time he takes to the sky in this Edge 540 version 3.
Right, and I expect to see a faster run out of Peter here as he gets set to do this run in the heat of the afternoon. Temperatures are affecting the pilot, temperatures are affecting engine performance, temperatures are affecting the quality of the air
into the track
for maneuvering.
Race director Jim DiMatteo gives the all clear and smoke on for Peter Besenyei, the local hero here in Budapest. He must not exceed the entry speed of 200 knots or 230 miles per hour or 370 kilometers per hour. Under the chain bridge, making the Budapest stop on the Red Bull Air Race World Championship so unique and like no other on the tour. This is a very dynamic, fast start for the Hungarian.
Yeah, it looks good for Peter. He's got great speed as he heads up here to gate number 5, the Margaret Island high G turn. He's going higher than most. This preserves his turning room to stay within the boundaries as he accelerates now southbound down the river. You can see he's down at the minimum race height that gives him the maximum speed just by having a slow descent as he goes downriver. Pulling up here at our gate number 9, this is a very vertical turn. Most pilots topping out 250, 275 meters. He's now streaking down the hill, starting his second lap very fast as he heads northbound here for the last high G turn. This is gate number 13 as he makes the right turn.
The target time must be sub 1 minute for the Hungarian pilot. He won here back in 2003 where the air race all began, but he would dearly love to make the final 4 in 2015 through the last open gate, now through the Breitling finish gate, and he's under review. 1 minute, spot 887. It's a great performance from the Hungarian.
Number 91, Besenyei, 1 minute, 0.887 seconds, no penalties.
That's the fastest he's flown today and the second fastest all week long. You can ask no better than that, Mike.
Every run is an improvement in that new airplane for Peter Besenyei. He's on the right track. And now, of course, we watch him as he comes through here. You can see it's very smooth flying. There's no second guessing. There's no little check turns. Peter's happy with his line. He's got good speed, smoke right in line with the airplane. So he's getting one with this new airplane. I would watch out for Peter as we head into this next round.
Well, he's kept the fans on their feet. The race hangar there of Team Besenyei, absolutely ecstatic, and he really has thrown the gauntlet down to the young Canadian pilot, Pete McLeod, who will be next to fly. And here is the Garmin Racing Canadian pilot, the youngest of all 14 air race pilots in our World Championship, Pete McLeod.
Pete McLeod, Canada. The key for me in this round is going to be to fly penalty-free. If I do that, I'll be in the finals.
Well, Pete has his wife, Alison, in the crowd. His father, David, back at the race airport. There is Alison watching on in the Sky Lounge, hoping that Pete can progress through to the final 4. We've seen him on the podium once this season. There's his dad, David, right on the far right-hand side of your screens. Third in Abu Dhabi, but he needs to get the better of Peter Besenyei. He said it himself. He must fly clean and error-free.
Right, he's also flying a version 3 Edge, but his is the older one. Peter's got the newer one, the sleeker, the lower turtle deck, the lower canopy. But Pete's been flying this airplane now for the whole year, so he's more in tune with it. Let's see what he can do with it. As he goes through gate 1, also nice altitude control. You see him just gently using the flight controls, the ailerons, to make these turns so he doesn't scrub off speed. This is where we've been having the problems here. This looks really good. Look how flat Pete goes. In fact, very low as he comes out of that turn, much flatter than Peter, electing to not use the vertical. As Pete heads down here, we'll see another readout on his sector time, but right now he's behind Peter. As he goes through gate number 9, which is our pull-up gate in the south in front of the chain bridge, Pete's already picked up quite a bit of time.
Those smooth, clean lines from the Canadian pilot give him over a second's advantage. He's just got to keep this energy going through this second lap, and surely the Canadian will progress to the final.
Boy, very, very precise on his flying. I don't see any loss of altitude. I don't see any climbing. He's got the acceleration going on this airplane as he heads down the home stretch.
This could be the end of the dream for Peter Besenyei, as Pete McLeod for Canada has the finish line within his sight. Full throttle on the X540, and Canada go through.
Number 84, McLeod, 59.460 seconds and no penalties. Congratulations, you won your heat.
84, woo!
Well, Pete's has to be happy with that. This team is now showing some results. He's on to the final 4, but I must point out he's flying at the limit as we see the replay. He's at the bottom of the red zone. He's using every trick in the book, as you say. Right here in his vertical turn, he's at the minimum altitude. You've got to be careful. If you go below the minimums out here, these judges, Steve Jones in charge in this race, they're going to flag him on it. So I'm saying he's at the limit. You know, caution, you can fly there, but it's a risk.
Well, for the second time in the 2015 season, the Garmin Racing team make their way to the final 4. Peter Besenyei says goodbye to his Hungarian fans. And Alison McLeod Absolutely delighted to see her husband progress to the last round of the competition. Now, who will join the Canadian? Because Nigel Lamb goes up against Hannes Ark of Austria. Nigel Lamb, of course, the defending champion.
Nigel Lamb, Great Britain.
My strategy in the round of 8 will be to tighten the lines and try and fly faster than I've flown all week.
Simple strategy for Nigel Lamb, who comes under the chain bridge. He made it quite clear in an interview earlier today, he must be in the final 4 to keep his championship defence dreams alive. And here comes Nigel Lamb, very clean, very smooth and fast in the early turns for the British pilot.
Very quick wings level in that gate number 2. He's tightening his lines all right, but if you go too tight and you incur a penalty, it'll be disastrous against Hannes Ark. As Nigel heads down south on the river for his completion of his first lap, he's got to stay clean. He looks like he's showing a better presentation. I see the airplane slowed down a bit. It's not as fast as perhaps some of the other aircraft. Nice vertical turn. He's accelerating down the hill, and now he's going to make a simple left turn, right turn as he heads into our...
Oh, it's gone! Over G penalty! DNF for Nigel Lamb, pushing it too hard, looking for a little too much speed. And surely that hands their place in the final to Hannes Ark. Just like he did in the round before, not learning from the round of 14, and that must make it more painful, Mike.
Yep, you know, Nigel was questioning it in the earlier round, but I think he knows now, and I'm sure his son Max is going to tell him when they look at their telemetry data, hey, Dad, you are over-G'ing. So we'll watch here. Here it is as he heads in to our gate 9. You can see it's a very abrupt pull-up, and that's where you're getting this 10 Gs for over a half a second. Either exceed the time duration or the G limit, and it's going to get you a DNF in this round.
22 arc.
Well, that could also put fate to Nigel Lamb's hopes of successfully defending the World Championship title he won in the 2014 season. All smiles at the Hannes Ark hangar. There's his partner Miriam Huller. She's delighted, and his technician Nigel Dickinson watches very carefully. Now, Nigel Lamb had a double DNF situation
Austria.
in the previous round, remember?
So tactics for round of 8, I think it's really important not to get distracted by the other pilot. It's more important to focus on yourself and be fast.
Wise words from Hannes Ark, and he needs to play that tactic to absolute precision here. If they both DNF, Hannes Ark would still go through because he was faster in qualifying. If we have to do again what we did in the round of 14, but I've got a funny feeling Hannes Ark is building his game plan here. It's almost a repeat of the last round in Ravine. It all went wrong in training. He got it together, and it got better and better as the race unfolded, Mike.
We've seen Hannes make the smart move in the round of 14, ease off a bit to get through. He knows that now he's got an easy ride. What I worry about is Hannes is not getting to practice at full power, full throttle, and really pushing himself for the round of 4. He may push himself a little bit here just to get ready for that round of 4. But even with an over-G, Hannes is going to move through. Let's hope he doesn't do that, but it's an opportunity to train at full speed, full power.
Underneath the chain bridge, just 8 to 12 meters of height for this plane to go underneath. 200 knots is the limit through the start gate. Beautiful, smooth start from the Austrian. Sets it up nice, clean and early. He can even afford a penalty or 2.
Right, as Hannes comes up here to gate number 5 in front of Margaret Island, he goes a little bit higher than Pete McLeod. And these are nice turns here where you use a little bit of vertical to help you accelerate and come down the course. Easy portion of the course in the middle is just one big sweeping left turn. Now he's going to make a right turn setting up for gate 9. This is our second high G maneuver in front of the chain bridge. You can see he took his time before he pulled up. Very wise right here. Just flying the safe game. It will not be his fastest time, but this should be a safe time for Hannes. Easy left turn. Setting himself up now for the high G turn for the last time up here in the north in front of Margaret Island. Ooh, not quite level, a little stall right there. You know, some minor deviations here, but it should still be a good run for Hannes as he streaks to the finish in front of the Parliament building.
This is the perfect preparation for the man who won the last round of the Red Bull Air Race World Championship. It looks good for Hannes Ark, progressing through to today's final.
Number 22 arc, 1 minute 2.746 seconds. No penalties. Congratulations, you won your heat.
Yeah, thanks to Nigel. Good job, Nigel.
congratulates Nigel, but not really. As you see Hannes go through gate number 9, he does the pull-up here. He actually extends a bit. You see the smoke trail go straight. This is the safe move right here. Again, it adds time, because I want to point out, Hannes' time here is even slower than his round of 14, so he's eased off. He knows it, we know it, and now in this round of 4, he's really got to push himself. These guys are also contending with the heat on the engines and to not, I say, ruin or destroy your engine, so he may be also saving his engine to go all out in this round of 4.
At the halfway point, 2 pilots from the 4 heats have gone through. Pete McLeod of Canada and Hannes Ark successfully through to the final, with Bonhomme, Dolderer, Sonka and Hall still to fly. Well, a thrilling start to the round of 8 here, and at halfway, Pete McLeod getting the better of Peter Besenyei. A shame for the Hungarian in front of his home crowd, but I fear a little more time could possibly be needed with this brand new Edge 540 version 3. One thing that we can confirm, Peter Besenyei is back and a force to be reckoned with. He's in the race airport with Jonathan Ledyard.
So what are your reflections then on this weekend? I can sense an element of excitement, but also frustration about this weekend for your performance.
No, my flights are quite concerned. In this week, my times are almost always the same, within half a second. So I'm quite constant.
But in terms of your time there, you were just saying to me that was actually quicker than Hannes Ark. So that shows how much you're improving, and also your frustration maybe about where you think you could be.
Yeah, and it's funny, if you can get out with a better time and someone stay in with a worse time, it's a funny system, but I'm still happy.
For Ascot, good luck.
Thank you.
Well, Peter Besenyei there putting on a brave face, being put out of the competition by Pete McLeod. But what our race reporter Jonathan Ledyard was airing towards there is that his time was actually faster than the time of Hannes Ark that has put the Austrian into the final. There's a great shot of Matt Hall, definitely the man to beat here in Budapest. Still unbeaten. 3 days of training, qualifying, and now heading for his duel in the round of 8 with that Martin Sonka, the fastest loser from the Czech Republic. Well, the heat still appears to be one of the key factors here, and 1 or 2 of the pilots wearing special cooling suits. It's also keeping the technicians really on their tippy toes, Mike, to keep the planes working right the way through the day. If anything, the temperatures seem to be rising towards the end of the day, not dipping.
They sure are. As the temperature rises, the engine actually performs worse. You get less power out of the engine. So the technicians are advising their pilots how much to lean the airplanes, how much cooling air to let in. These are the major adjustments they can make. And the pilots, of course, are the operators up there. They must monitor this as well as fly their tactic through the course. So the pilot is really, you know, task saturated mentally, physically with the G's and physically with the high temperatures. It's no easy job out there today, I can tell you. I'm glad we're in here in the booth and rather than being out there working hard in the heat, because these guys are working hard.
There's a great shot back at the race airport. Peter Besenyei congratulating the youngest of all the 14 Red Bull Air Race pilots, Pete McLeod, still only 31 years of age. He's into the final 4 for the 2nd time this season. Work to do for Matt Hall Racing. Well, the crowd perhaps a little disappointed to say goodbye to their hero Peter Besenyei, but what we can guarantee is the 2nd half of this round of 8 and of course the final 4 will have each and every one of them on the edge of their seats. The 3rd duel in the round of 8 has the British 2-times world champion Paul Bonhomme going up against Matthias Dolderer. Both these pilots are flying very fast.
Paul Bonhomme, Great Britain.
The strategy for the round of 8 is to fly fast, even faster than the first round, to try and beat whoever we're up against.
Simple strategy for Paul Bonhomme, but let's not forget it all went wrong in the round of 8 in the last stop on the Red Bull Air Race World Championship in Ravine, where he exceeded the maximum load factor, pulled too much G. He's got to stay calm, got to keep it error-free. He's also got to put down a pretty impressive time, Mike, because he's up against Germany's Matthias Dolderer.
Right. He knows he's got to show a good time and put the pressure on Matthias. So we're going to look for another error-free textbook run out of Paul. He had a fast time in the round of 14, like you said, but it's got to go faster if he's going to advance.
Paul Bonhomme has been on the podium in every race here in Budapest since 2005. 3 times third, twice second. He just needs to pick off one more pilot to maintain that impressive statistic. Right on the mark in the entry speed, nice and early and clean with the racing line as he comes into the first pass and the halfway point of lap 1.
Very clean through gate 5. Nice wings level. Paul goes a little high in the turn, not flat, which is the safe move, the smart move. Down the river here, it's just an easy left-hand turn around the single pylon gate. Now he sets himself up for this gate number 9, the second high G maneuver in front of the chain bridge. Pilots are going to pull high here. It's a vertical maneuver. Wow, way over 300 meters for Paul. So one of the higher ones as he streaks down the hill, just getting to level flight to make it through that gate number 2 as he proceeds northbound in the second lap. Here's the last high G turn in front of Margaret Island. Again, this looks textbook, slight climb. That's about 20 meters high. Now it's an acceleration to the finish.
This is good work from Paul Bonhomme. Exactly what was needed to put the pressure on Dolderer, who is next to fly. And I have to say, Paul Bonhomme will be pretty happy with this because it could well go sub 1 minute. He's just over it.
Number 55, Bonhomme, 1 minute, 0.521 seconds, no penalties.
Well, again, if you analyse the times, McLeod is the fastest man out there so far in the round of 8 with 59.460. But, of course, McLeod isn't up against Paul Bonhomme. It's Bonhomme looking to get the better of Dolderer, Mike.
Right. I see Paul flying a very a safe run here. It's good, it's fast, it's textbook. Looks like Pablo and his team are not quite happy with what they saw there, but I think it's going to be enough, or we're going to find out if it's enough to beat Matthias Dolderer.
Bonhomme lists Budapest as one of his favourite races on the tour. Let's see if he's done enough to go through to the final 4 round. Plenty of support for Matthias Dolderer in the crowd, the German.
Matthias Dolderer, Germany.
My plan is to nail this track, to fly clean, not to make any mistakes, to get everything on time together, to be the fastest out there.
And if Dolderer can achieve all of those goals that he's set himself, he could give Paul Bonhomme a real run for his money here. Let's not forget that Dolderer has been on the podium this season. Round 2 in Japan, took 3rd position there, but was behind Bonhomme in that race. Here's a chance for Dolderer to get a little bit of revenge from Chiba, Japan, and book his spot in the final flight of the day. Waiting for the all clear from race director.
Dolderer cleared into the track. Falcon.
Smoke is on from Dolderer. Germany's top race pilot underneath the chain bridge. Just lifts the altitude a little once he's gone under to get through race gate 1, and the clock starts ticking away.
All right, Matthias slaps his wings level there for gate 2 as he comes around 3, the single pylon. He's northbound. This is our high G turn. He must get it clean. Oh, that looks awful hard on the G. Very tight turn as he comes southbound here. You can hear him grunting and groaning just to contend with the high forces on his body. Makes this easy left-hand turn, and there it is, incorrect level gate 5, but he's got to press on here. Maybe he can make this time up. Very oblique, another high G turn out of Matthias as he heads into his 2nd lap, northbound.
He's got to deal with 2 seconds added to the time. It's added automatically. You'll already read it on the clock as he finishes the challenge here. But Dolderer just pushing that little too hard, a little too aggressive on this turn. The lap before, it's now 1.73. Mike, you've called it nicely. He's whittling away at that 2-second penalty, but surely it's not going to be there for Dolderer. Not going to get the better of Paul Bonhomme. 1 minute spot 5.21. Bonhomme goes through to the final 4.
Number 21, Dolderer, 1 minute 2.116 seconds. That includes a 2-second penalty. Frankrike level gate number 5 places you in second place.
Okay. Anyway,
once he analyzes this, as we look at it, you can see he rolls a little bit early, and he looks at these times and he subtracts his 2 seconds. He's going to say, boy, had I not, I could have beat Paul Bonhomme. So a costly error by Matthias Dolderer here, just a little anxious to get that turn started. They've got to get through clean before they get quickly into the turn.
When we talk about a pilot putting the pressure on another, that's Paul Bonhomme turning the screws on Dolderer. Just a psychological error, if nothing else. Plane going well, pilot flying well, but that's what it's all about when you get to the round of 8 and the final 4. Who's got that mental strength to pull off the win?
Right, you got to fly the plan. That's why they have their computer expert, their technicians, or these guys advising them on how to fly the course. Really, the pilot just needs to execute what the team has come up with the plan, and that's the smartest thing to do.
The last heat of the round of 8 sees Martin Sonka of the Czech Republic go up against Matt Hall of Australia. This is a tough one for Sonka.
Martin Sonka, Czech Republic.
What I have to do now is maintain super clean trajectory, and of course, I don't know what else, like just, you know, be faster than the others.
Well, my fear for Martin Sonka is that he pushes it just a little too hard, knowing that he's going up against Matt Hall, who has been consistently the fastest pilot here in Budapest, not just all day, but all week long. But there is no question that Martin Sonka is rising up the ranks up to a rapid rate in the World Championship, coming off the back of a career best in Rovinj, Croatia, the last stop on the tour. If anybody can do it, this Czech fighter pilot can.
He's learning how to do it. We've seen him employing some of the little tricks of the trade, and then he's flying in the lower part of the red zone a little bit too high in this turn, in my opinion, scrubs off some speed. And sometimes I see Martin overbank and then check back. So there's areas where he can pick up these hundredths of a second that he needs, but he's flying very nice turns. This is our vertical turn in front of the chain bridge, one of the tighter ones at 275 meters as he accelerates down the hill. This is good, smooth flying right here. It's an easy track, easy to get through. Now it's all down to this last big high G turn up here. And you can see him, he goes, this one's a little flatter than before. I like this turn better than his first one. And now he's, oh, watch his altitude. Just at the bottom of the red zone as he heads down to the finish line.
Good smooth arcs, a good racing line from Martin Sonka. He's doing everything that he can to put the pressure on. Sub 1 minute. Great performance from Sonka.
59.701 seconds, no penalties.
Look at the body language in the cockpit. He's absolutely delighted. You could ask no more. That is the fastest that Sonka has flown all week long, just when it was needed, Mike.
Yes, he just stepped up to his game. That's a good run for Martin. There are some areas where he could pick it up. We'll see if we can notice it in here as he comes around the left turn, setting himself up for this high G turn. Now, he did 2 styles. He went high on his first time. The second time, he went lower through the turn. I think the second one is going to be the faster. So Martin's got some areas where he can improve, perhaps make up some time, but it's a good run. It's going to be a challenge here for Matt Hall.
The pressure is on Matt Hall.
Matt Hall, Australia. Into the round of 8. Basically, we've got to start winning now. So it's do what I've got to do to win the race, and then we'll hang it all out there in the final 4.
Well, let's not forget that Matt Hall has the track record here in Budapest this week at 57 spot 775. He's been flying sub 1 minute all week long. But Matt Hall has not had to deal with this kind of pressure throughout the week here in Hungary. And he now not only needs to fly 59.701 or faster, but he really does need to push it like he hasn't had to, and he's under pressure like he hasn't been throughout the week. Here comes the Aussie ace through the start gate, sets the clock going. Can he maintain the consistency? Can he keep his form level high and put Sonka out of the competition here?
Looking really good so far as he starts into this turn in front of Margaret Island. Nice level turn, nice G's as he comes around. Look at the airplane accelerate, just minimal flight control input. This is what keeps the speed on the aircraft. We're going to watch as he makes this turn in front of the chain bridge. It's going to go more vertical than in the north. Little hitch there as he came out of the gate. Got to watch his G. Now the airplane accelerates down the hill to begin the second lap. This is looking pretty good for Matt Hall.
And it's the second lap where he's been most effective and most efficient. He's already got the green light. The green light tells us that the Australian is 0.2 of a second faster than Sonka, but the light goes back to red, 0.33, and Matt Hall really does need to push it. He's easing off, maybe just a little too much. There's a chance here that Sonka could go through. This could be the biggest upset of the competition so far. Oh, he's lost it. Matt Hall has thrown it away.
Number 95 Hall, 59.884 seconds, no penalties.
Matt Hall is out of the competition. The Australian dream has been shattered. Sonka has done it. Martin Sonka of the Czech Republic cannot believe it. The Czech fans absolutely ecstatic. There's his father and his partner Olga watching on. They're doing well to contain their emotion. And Matt Hall, well, just when he needed to show the skills that we've seen for 5 days back to back, they desert him.
Right, you can see where he lost it. In his gate 9, he delayed pulling up after he went through that gate, and hopefully we'll see a couple pull-up gates here. We can analyze where he's given up these little tenths of a second. This was a test. He needed to push himself a little more than he did. And he did not, and that's why Martin Sonka, who's maybe a little more hungry, who wants it more, prevailed in this heat.
Oh, back at the race hangar. They cannot believe it, and well, the picture tells a story, doesn't it? Lance Winter, the technician for Martin Sonka, his brother Joseph, the team coordinator, and there's a fair few fans out there cheering for Martin. Absolutely delighted. What a scalp for Martin Sonka. The odds-on favourite, Matt Hall, has been beaten fair and square by Martin Sonka. A well-deserved place in the final. And for the first time in the 2015 Red Bull Air Race World Championship, Matt Hall will not be in the final four.
Disappointment there for Team Hall. They were expecting so much. They were performing so well this week. Again, he's come up a little bit short in our 2015 World Championship. Halfway through it.
4 pilots left looking for 12 championship points and victory here in Budapest. Pete McLeod will fly first. Hannes Ark, Paul Bonhomme and Martin Sonka. They're the 4 left in contention here. Let's not forget that Hannes Ark is a former winner here, looking to tie the gentleman sitting next to me with a 2-win record in Budapest. Bonhomme, in the chase for the World Championship, will be delighted to see Matt Hall finish outside of the top 4, a chance for Bonhomme to extend his lead. And Martin Sonka, well, already the hero of the day, putting Matt Hall out of the competition. You never know, he may even take his first career win here in Budapest today.
The momentum has to be with Sonka.
Well, what a thrilling round of 8. Goodness me, we never expected that. Martin Sonka, obviously the big hero, but also some fine performances from Paul Bonhomme. Hannes Ark perhaps had the easiest passage through to the last flight of the day. And Pete McLeod, well, disappointing the Hungarian crowd. Let's go to Jonathan Ledyard at the race airport, who is talking to Paul Bonhomme, who must be feeling confident for his 3rd win from 4 this season.
Paul, simple question. What do you have to do to win?
Fly fast is the simple answer. Yeah, there's some quick guys out there, so we'll just go and have a nice time and see what happens.
Have fun.
Will do.
Short, sweet, and of course with so many upsets and turnarounds in today's race, Paul Bonham's tactic is clear and simple. Just fly fast. Well, it's all just about settling in, Mike, but Matt Hall must be absolutely gutted. Was it pilot error, or did he just take his eye off the ball for a split second, thinking that he could coast, take it a little easy? Pilot error, where would you call it?
I don't call it error. It's a judgment in tactics. You know, it's how hard do you push, how hard do you press. You don't want to push that hard. You risk a mistake or a major error. but you guys with Paul Bonhomme, when you're racing Paul, you got to go for it. And you heard Matt say in his interview, I'm going to get through, do what I have to do to get the Final Four. Well, this was his race here against Paul Bonhomme. He needed to kick Paul Bonhomme out of this thing. So, you know, a tactical error, if you will. I don't really want to say pilot error, but very disappointing, because certainly Team Hall was shown excellence all week and was capable of just outspeeding this whole field, and they were going to fall short here in the round of 8.
And the statistics in front of us here show that Matt Hall flying one of the slowest times that he's flown all week long, perhaps giving Martin Sonka a little too much respect, perhaps thinking that he'd got it in the bag before he'd actually taken to the flight. That is the big story of the round of 8. Big disappointment for Nigel Lamb, handing it to Hannes Ark on a plate with that over G.
What I'm worried about for Hannes Ark is he's had 2 easy flights. Hannes this time 62. I mean, he's flown very, very slow in this round of 14, round of 8. Now Hannes is in the final. He's really got to step up his game, and he really has not pushed himself or the aircraft to the limit on this hot day.
Well, the crowd enjoying every moment of this competition. There is one flight left to go. None of the times from the previous rounds are carried forward. We wipe the slate clean. One more time, one more attempt at the racetrack with 4 pilots in contention. Mike, a quick comment from you. Is there any one of those 4 that you think stand out and we should be going with or supporting?
Pete McLeod had the fastest time in that round of 8. But I like Martin Sonka. The momentum's there. They're flying well. He's taken some calculated chances. There's where I'd put my money on Team Sonka.
Canada, Austria, Great Britain and the Czech Republic are the 4 nations and pilots left in today's competition. Matt Hall really trying his best to figure out where his round of 8 came to an end, letting it slip through his fingers by a few tenths of a second. This is the starting order for the last flight of the day. Round 4 of the Red Bull Air Race World Championship. 4 pilots left in contention. Pete McLeod for Canada will get the action underway. A former winner here in 2008. Hannes Ark will fly second. Martin Sonka will go last of all. Well, as Mike Mangold, twice a winner here before in Budapest, has already pointed out, McLeod was the fastest man in the round of 8. If he can keep that momentum going, Pete McLeod could take his first win of the 2015 season, the second of his career. Already on the podium in the season opener in Abu Dhabi, took 3rd position and 7 points there. This is a golden opportunity for Pete McLeod to get right back into the hunt for the 2015 World Championship title. Under the chain bridge, he will be the first focus for Pete, and then just raise the level a little to go through the start-finish gate. The Breitling start-finish gate is where the clock starts ticking. 198 knots, just 2 shy of 200. It's a good start for the Canadian.
Yeah, very lazy, wings level through gate 2, but look good as he heads up here to gate 5, our first high G turn. Oh, very aggressive, very flat turn. This is high G as he comes down, and you can hear him grunting and groaning just to relieve that pressure that he's got to build up in his system to keep the blood flowing to his brain. Now, as he goes down here in front of the chain bridge, he's downwind. He's going to pull vertical for this vertical turn, or high G turn, and he's topping out 275 meters. It's the average height today. Acceleration down the hill. It's just an easy left turn and a setup for this last high G maneuver in front of Margaret Island.
He's pushing really hard. This is very aggressive, right on the limit here. Pete McLeod right on the G meter limit as well. But it's so far so good. Error-free, clean flying. This is fast from the Canadian. Can he go around sub 58? 59 seconds is the target as Pete McLeod stops the clock. Oh, 101 is not what he wanted.
Number 84 McLeod, 1 minute, 1.113 seconds, no penalties.
Well, a nod of approval from his wife, Alison.
Look, Pete's flying here. Very good. You see he gets a nice cut prior to that right turn out of gate number 5. It decreases the amount of degrees he has to turn after the gate. He's doing flat turns, high G, staying within the limit. You can hear him grunting in the strain that's on his body.
Let's quickly go over to the race airport before we see Hannes Ark in action and get a quick word from Matt Hall on the disappointment of his exit from the competition in the round of 8. He's talking to Jonathan Ledgard.
We are surprised. How surprised are you by that? Because most of us, I think, had you down to win.
Yeah, I'm disappointed. I don't know what happened because I thought it was just exactly the runs I've been doing all week, so not sure why I lost a second. I heard his time. I knew it was a pretty good time, but I was pretty happy I could get a 58 again. So I've got to go look at the data. That's racing. It's it'll be a little bit here, a little bit there, and we'll find out why that happened. But yeah, that was my race to lose, and I did it.
Thanks.
Well, very good of Matt Hall to put on such a brave face there. Huge disappointment for all the Aussie fans. They were so close to their first ever championship win. Let's get back to the action. Next man to take to the sky, looking to get the better of Pete McLeod's time of 1:01 spot, 1:13 seconds, is the Austrian ace Hannes Ark. Let's not forget Hannes Ark, a former world champion in 2008, a winner here over the River Danube in that very same year, and he's coming off the back, Mike, of a win in round 3. It was in Ravine, Croatia, where he's got his season back on track, and he's looking to pick it up where he left off in that round.
Right, this is where Hannes broke out in 2008 to start his winning season, so this may be lucky for him. He has really got to step up his game, and I just hope he's up for it. He's got to fly clean. He's got to get his wings level in the gate. He's got to manage his G. He's capable of doing it, and it's a pilot control thing. He needs to fly that airplane precisely like Herbert and his other team advisors have advised him.
Under the chain bridge, into gate 1. Hannes Ark has had the easiest of all the pilots. That's the passage to these finals. Now, can he pick it up, get the plane up to race tempo, and get below 101? He needs to fly 59. It's a good start for the Austrian. The green light at the first split time, 0.16 faster than the leading Canadian.
Those are great turns out of Hannes. He chooses to use a little more vertical than what Pete McLeod used. It's a little safer way to go. As he makes his turn down here, he doesn't pull early. He goes nice and vertical. We don't have our graphic, but I'm going to guess 250 meters high. As he accelerates down the hill, now it's just an easy sprint right up to this last big high G turn. And he's just got to watch his wings that he gets them level as he goes through this gate 13. Looks good. Nice turn out of Hannes.
We often forget that Hannes Ark has been runner-up in the World Championship standings for the past 3 runnings of this competition, and he's showing his class. He's showing his quality here. Here comes Hannes Ark, putting down a blistering time just when it matters.
Number 22 Ark, 59.350 seconds, no penalties, and that holds you currently in first place.
And the cockpit cam shows the delight of Hannes Ark, a punch to the air. He knows it's good. He's just to watch 2 more pilots. His technician, Nigel Dickinson, delighted with the performance of the plane. The million-dollar question now, is that good enough to beat Paul Bonhomme? Is that good enough to beat Martin Sonka?
It's a very good run. We're going to find out if it works as we watch Hannes come around. I like the control he's showing. His rollouts are much cleaner. The wings are within 10 degrees of level. That's what gets you no penalties. Look how spot on he's flying. He stepped up when he had to. So compliments to Hannes Ark and his whole team.
Well, a shrug of the shoulders, a shake of the head from Pete McLeod. He will not be taking his first win of the 2015 season. The question now, can Hannes Ark take his second? Patient wait in the holding pattern for the Austrian pilot. There are 2 to go. This is the man that he will be watching most carefully of all. This is Paul Bonhomme. Emphatic victories in the opening 2 rounds of the 2015 championship. Let it slip in Ravine with an over G, finishing in 8th position in the round of 8 and only taking 1 point. Here's a chance for Paul Bonhomme to make amends. Here's a chance for Paul Bonhomme to get his world championship campaign right back on track. The target time, 59.350. shows very little emotion. Nigel Warren, his team captain. Wade Hammond, perhaps the most important man in the middle there. Has he got the plane going as fast as Bonhomme needs?
Right, they've probably counseled Paul on what mixture settings to use. It's up to him to set the proper mixture when he's up there and have the right amount of cooling so that engine doesn't overheat, so he gets maximum power. Because he's got the skills as a pilot to win this race, but the engine has to perform, give him the speed that he needs.
It's a dual task here for Bonhomme. He's got to get the better of Hannes Ark. He's got to put the pressure on Sonka from the Czech Republic, who will fly last of all and immediately after Bonhomme. Jim de Matteo, race director, gives the all clear. Bonhomme flicks the switch. The smoke is on. The first part of the focus, go under the chain bridge, lift the altitude and into gate 1. Bonhomme look for the smooth, clean, error-free style that we love to watch and admire, and so far so good. Near perfect start for Bonhomme. Look for the first split.
Watch the speed on the airplane as he comes out of his turn. They need to keep the speed up so this thing goes as fast as possible. You can see he's got nice minimal flight control input. Just smooth rolls, much slower than the other pilots out of Paul Bonhomme. The airplane looks a little slow to me as he goes through gate number 9. Yes, he's in the red. Very high turn as he comes back northbound. We'll have to check these sector times. That's going to tell us the story.
He's in the red, but it's 1/100th of a second off the pace. Second lap efficiency is crucial now for Bonhomme.
Paul, as a pilot, is flying his thing textbook. A little bit late on the rollout there, but the engine, the airplane is not giving him the speed that he wants. He, as the driver, is doing the job. The airplane needs to come through and push him or pull him here to the finish.
2 gates to go for Paul Bonhomme. Can he take the lead from Hannes Ark? And Paul Bonhomme, he's missed it. 0.207 off the pace. Hannes Ark still leads.
0.557 seconds. No penalties, and that currently holds you in second place.
Well, Paul Bonhomme maintains that impressive statistic of podiuming every time he races here in Budapest. That goes back as far as 2005. But there is Miriam Huller and Werner Wolfram from the Ark team celebrating. The question now, will Ark take the win or will he be runner-up? Martin Sonka of the Czech Republic, the last man to fly. Bonhomme just 0.002 of a second off the pace.
Yeah, I think Paul's doing a great job as a driver. I'll toss it back to Wade Hammond and everyone else on the team. They've got to get a little more speed out of that aircraft for Paul. He's doing a great job out there flying the airplane. And man, this thing is a team effort. It's not just the driver. Like I said, it's the technicians that keep the engine cool, they get max power, and then it makes it easy for the driver.
Hannes Ark tops the table. Paul Bonhomme lies in second position. Pete McLeod of Canada is third. There is one pilot left to fly, Martin Sonka, the least experienced of the trio on the scoreboard so far, but one that has turned more heads than many this week. Sonka coming off the back of that second position in Rovine. A career best result. Wouldn't this be amazing if he went one better here in Budapest and took his first career win? A former Czech Air Force fighter pilot has already knocked Matt Hall out of the competition to spoil the Aussie party. Can he now spoil the Austrian party? This is a huge ask for Martin Sonka.
I would say he's already got 2 G's on himself right now. There's a lot of pressure on Martin. Here's his father, and he knows it. This is Martin's chance to show us that he's ready to be a champion out here.
There are 3 generations, father, son, and his newborn, Martin Sonka Jr., all watching on here. Now, can he handle the pressure? Can he keep it error-free and clean? And then can he find the speed?
You can see as he goes through the start gate, there's a little bit of left-right drift as they head up the river here. There is that crosswind from the left. It's not strong. It's the temperatures that are the factor today. As Martin rolls out, he's flying super aggressive. That airplane is on rails as he comes around. He's coming down now, minimal altitude. He's got to watch that he doesn't get too low and incur that major penalty. As he heads down here to gate number 9, this is our second high G turn in front of the chain bridge, the trademark of this air race. There's a stall. That's going to cost him time. Costly mistake up there, stalling the aircraft in that turn.
Now we'll see the result of that stall in the next sector time, because he's building at this point in the challenge. 0.14, look for the next split time. He goes 43.34 is the target, and that's the result of the stall. He's now 0.86 off the pace as Martin Sonka is heading home. Can the pilot from the Czech Republic just find half a second plus?
This is one of the things. He knows he made a mistake as a pilot, so he's doing everything he can to make this up. I don't think there's going to be enough here
Hannes Ark has done it. Martin Sonka has not done enough. Ark has taken his second win of the season.
0.658 seconds and no penalties, and that holds you in third place.
It's another podium for Martin Sonka. He's absolutely delighted. But it is Hannes Ark who has taken his second win and really does set the World Championship for 2015 alight. And it looks like it will be Matt Hall, Hannes Ark and Paul Bonhomme taking this one to the wire. But for today here in Budapest, it is Hannes Ark that celebrates with a brilliant win. Team Hannes Ark 22 taking the 12 championship points.
Take a look at Martin's run right here. The airplane is moving fast. Compliments to Lance Winter. He's got the most power out of that engine on this hot day. Martin doing a great job, but that one little costly mistake in this big high G turn in front of the chain bridge. You saw the airplane stall. You can see it buffet right there. Not that it's going to go out of control, but it just scrubs off speed. The airflow becomes detached. It takes tenths of a second to regain the speed and the flow over the wings and start flying or at maximum speed again.
Well, Charlotte Sandgaard, the team coordinator for this race here, and his girlfriend Miriam Hula celebrated her birthday last week, all congratulating Hannes Ark, his second win of the season. And of course, this was where he won his first race back in 2008. And he's recreated the magic in 2015 at a crucial point in the season. Let's go down to Jonathan Ledyard, who's already with Hannes as the celebrations begin.
Wow, well done. Was that expected at all, given how Matt Hall had been so dominant early on?
Honestly, I was hoping all week that Matt is doing a mistake, because if he's performing normal, he was unbeatable here. I don't know what happened to him, but luckily I could do of all the runs the fastest in the finals, and I was so lucky about that, because just right before the finals I thought, how can I make up 2 seconds? But everything worked out fine, so I'm really, really pleased.
Where did that come from? Where did that speed come from? Because you absolutely nailed it.
Actually, I knew exactly what to do, I mean, all week long, but the key is always to do it in the right time. You know, it doesn't help if I do it in the training or in the qualifying, and I trusted myself and my game. I was playing with myself and mind-wise. So thanks to my team and my airplane, and everything worked out fine, that it comes together.
Everything's coming together. The last 2 races you've won. You're right in the championship contention. And I'm going to throw another stat at you. In 2008, you won the World Championship, and you won in Budapest. What do you say to that?
Well, it's speculation, but actually it couldn't run better at the moment.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Well, doing well to contain his emotion. It's a lot of adrenaline pumping around the pilot's body when they land the plane like that. And Jonathan's there as quick as you can with the microphone. But I think he knows deep down inside that this second win of the season here really does put him into contention. A great point, Mike, made by Ledyard there, that he won here in 2008, went on to take the World Championship title. There's no reason why he couldn't do it again.
Right. I mean, Hannes Ark here at the top of the Final Four list. He's very wise in what he said. He came through when he had to in the final round, and he put a great run together to win it after 2 slower rounds. But that's the game he said he was playing with himself.
Well, runner-up position for Paul Bonhomme, a very valuable 9-point score. And Martin Sonka, he too, like Hannes Ark, taking another podium in succession. Here comes Bonhomme landing back at the Budapest race airport, so close to the win. An amazing statistic now, 6 podium positions here for Paul Bonhomme since 2005, Mike. He's always been on the podium, but he's never won.
Oh, well, this was an opportunity missed for Paul, but I think Paul did a great job given the tools he had on this one. And you can tell the heat was taking its toll on engine performance and on G performance as the pilot went through. This race really took a lot of nerves, a lot of skill, or I say hold back, and when to go for it on the pilot standpoint. We saw Matt Hall fail. We saw Hannes step up when he needed to. And I think in Paul's case, it was more equipment.
Confirmation of the result here in Budapest, round 4 of the Red Bull Air Race World Championship. Hannes Arp takes top spot and a very valuable 12-point score. Bonhomme in second takes 9. Sonka with his second podium of the season in third spot. Then we see Pete McLeod, the big upset, the Australian Matt Hall, only down in 5th position by the end of proceedings. Peter Besenyei, their local hero, in 7th. 1 point for Nigel Lamb in 8th. Maroya, Chambliss, Gulian, Levot, Velorde and Ivanov out of the points. Well, Paul Bonhomme gets back into his podium performance ways. That was the big upset for Bonhomme, only finishing in 8th in Rovine. And it will be very tight at the top of the championship standings. A lovely shot there of Olga and Martin Sonka Sr. They will be delighted. And I think it's fair to say, Mike, that Sonka is rapidly becoming the pilot of the season. Second podium of the 2015 Tour. But let's also talk a little bit about Lance Winter, his technician. He did a lot of modifications coming into this 4th round. New cooling system and new inlets as well.
Right, Lance doing a lot of work on that airplane to give Martin the speed that he needs to fly it as aggressively as he is.
Well, let's go back to the race airport. Jonathan Ledgard is chatting with Paul Bonhomme.
Paul, second place, but you are in the lead in the World Championship heading to your home race at Ascot. So how does that work out as a weekend's work in Budapest?
I think it's been a good week. We've actually been wondering why we've been off the pace, so it's good, you know, to be second, and we're chuffed to bits with that. Slightly frustrating. I don't think Hannes beat me by a huge margin, so that bodes well for the future. And yeah, good fun, great day out. Well done to the team for preparing a beautiful aeroplane again.
Thank you very much.
Well, understandably, Paul Bonhomme still with a smile on his face, still enjoying the 2015 World Championship because he's 5 points clear out of Hannes Arp at the top of the table. And Matt Hall is in 3rd position. He may have the same points as Hannes Arp, but of course Hannes Arp finishes or stands higher due to those 2 victories. But Martin Sonka is the big story, jumping up into 4th position ahead of Pete McLeod and Nigel Lamb, with Dolderer and Gulian making up the top 8. So impressed with Martin Sonka. Struggled a little bit in the first couple of training runs, but got it together in training run 3. And then went from strength to strength. And of course, he will remember this competition for knocking Matt Hall out of the round of 8.
He's going to remember the stall on the top of that high G turn in front of the chain bridge. That cost him probably a good half of a second. He was a second behind, you know, taking this win here. But he'll go back and look and find the little places where he could have done better. But it was pretty obvious that stall cost Martin perhaps 1 step on the podium.
Well, these two are the best of friends when they're out of World Championship competition. They're fierce rivals when they're in the air and the pylons go up. But they have massive respect for each other as race pilots. That's Hannes Arp and Paul Bonhomme, Mike.
Right. There's a lot of respect amongst all the race pilots, and we all know each other's personality and how to press some buttons there. And these two, they like to, you know, go back and forth with each other as the season goes on.
And let's put it in perspective that Hannes Arp had to finish runner-up in 2 back-to-back seasons in the World Championship standings to Paul Bonhomme in 2009 and 2010. And then in our last season, 2014, he was runner-up to Nigel Lamb. So you can understand that if Hannes Arp doesn't like the Brits that much.
But when you finish as a runner-up, you're so close, you could have won it. And it's very, very disappointing, you know. And Paul's been in the same position, been runner-up to me a couple times. And, you know, he says, had I done this, I could have won. And it's almost the worst place to be is second place, because you could have won had you made perhaps 1 smart decision or flown better in a race or 2.
Well, I have to say, Mike, that Hannes Arp has equaled your record, and I'm not sure whether many of our viewers will be aware, but in the early stages of Hannes Arp's career, you were his coach, and now not only is he starting to take races and add to that list of victories, he's starting to take some of your records away as well.
Hannes.
You and Hannes, the only 2 pilots in the history of our sport to win here twice.
You know, I'm the old school. Hannes is the generation, the next generation. There's even another generation after Hannes, but Hannes and I were linked with our Team Cobra link. and we do talk once in a while, but he learns. Hannes is a good study. He's actually better than I, and he's learned from a lot. He's got probably one of the biggest or most in-depth teams. Certainly he's on running an operation, a large budget, but this is what you need to win these races. Hannes is lifting really no stone unturned to get the resources he needs to have a fast airplane, a smart coach, a good simulator. I mean, Hannes really has got all the tools. He's just got to now put it together, and he is as the driver.
Mike, what impressed me the most about Hannes Ark is that he had a disastrous start to the week's competition. First training run, 13th DNF. Second training run, 14th, with 7 seconds of penalties. He has this ability to turn the odds the other way, turn them in his favor almost. It looked like he was all over the place on day one. Here we are on day 5, and he's climbing to the top of the podium.
It takes a team effort to identify the mistakes or the errors where you can correct, and that's what his team did, and you saw the steady improvement throughout the week. And that's the whole key to winning these races.
Eric Bertin from the International Aviation Authority will be presenting the prizes here. We're just a few moments away from the medal ceremony. And at the halfway point of the World Championship season, let's not forget that the tour will head to the United Kingdom and Ascot on the 15th and 16th of August. Bonhomme opens up a 5-point lead over Hannes Ark and Matt Hall, and Bonhomme was the winner in Ascot on the 2014 tour. We're ready with our presentation, and we are ready with our ceremonies.
Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to the prize giving for round 4 of the 2015 Red Bull Air Race World Championship event in Budapest. We will see our top 3 drivers in just a moment, or pilots in just a moment, but first please welcome our special guest to present the trophies from the FAI, the Sports and Event Manager, Serge Bertin. And please welcome to the top step of the podium, our winner in Budapest, the 2008 World Champion, Hannes Ark.
Well, Hannes Ark collects his 11th career victory here today, his 21st career podium. But after a slow start to the season,
2010 World Champion,
he gets it right back on track. Paul Bonhomme taking runner-up position, a very valuable 9-point score for the 2010 World Champion. And Bonhomme, as we said earlier,
and from
at the top of the championship standings at the halfway point of the 2015 season, and he is 5 points clear. And Martin Sonka, who's gathering momentum, confidence and pace as the season unfolds, takes his 2nd podium of the season. 3rd position for the Czech Republic, runner-up for Paul Bonhomme of Great Britain, and Hannes Ark stands proudly for the Austrian national anthem. Four races down and 4 to go, but today belongs to Hannes Ark of Austria. A very important victory at a key point in the 2015 tour to keep his championship hopes alive. Eric Bertin from the FIA presenting each and every one of the pilots with their trophies.
To the runner-up, Paul Bonhomme.
Paul Bonhomme maintains his championship lead, as he has done since the start of the 2015 season, but he now knows the pilots that are chasing him. Hannes Ark is in runner-up spot. Matt Hall lies third in the championship standings, and a new name
Martin
in
Sonka
World Championship
in third
contention,
place.
Martin Sonka.
And for the photographers, trophies hoist aloft in celebration, gentlemen. And after a thirsty day's work, the champagne!
Our traditional champagne celebrations here.
As they go to the champagne, let me just remind you, when we go to Ascot, we've got a different start, a different format. We're going to do a standing start, which it posed problems for this man right here, Hannes Ark. So we're up to a tough race there in Ascot on the turf, a little different format in the beginning.
And here is the confirmation. Round 5 of the Red Bull Air Race World Championship will start at Royal Ascot in the United Kingdom on the 16th and the 17th of August. It was a brilliant race a year ago, and it will be no different next month. But here in Budapest, it's congratulations to Hannes Ark with his second win of the season. That's all we've got time for here in Hungary. From Nick Fellows and from Mike Mangold, many thanks for your company. It's goodbye for now. We'll see you next month in the United Kingdom.
Perfect's never perfect news already old. Gonna give me a reason not to feel so cold. I got something special kept right up my sleeve. Gonna give me a reason not to go and live. Thank you, thank you.
Tá.